G'day, I'm Warwick Schiller and I'm here with, this is Big Jeffrey here. He's a part Shire, part Clydesdale, part Thoroughbred, part paint I think, and he comes from Alaska. As you can see, he's got a bit of hair on him, and you'll have to excuse the mud on him, but we have what's called adobe mud at our place. It's black clay and it sticks to everything, and so when I get old Jeff out to ride him, you basically just got to chisel the mud off the parts where the saddle goes and then leave the rest of the mud there. But Jeff came down from Alaska and he had a problem to where he would pull away, run over people, all sorts of stuff. And he came down to originally came down to a friend of mine, Katie Negranti, and Katie did all the groundwork with him. And she said when he came off the truck the day that he arrived at her place, the guy that was leading him was skiing. Like this horse was dragging this guy all over the place. Not that he's a bad horse, he's actually a lovely little fella, but that was basically all he knew. And what I want to talk about in this clip is, just because he's a half draft, or part draft, part Shire, doesn't mean he should be heavy on this lead rope. So my friend Katie did all the groundwork with him, and I got him here. All the groundwork was really good, and he was really responsive to this lead rope, taking the slack out of this lead rope. Like if you go ask him to go somewhere, you ask him to back, say you're asking to back up, he really backs up really softly when you take the slack out of that, things like that. And I've started riding him, and that stuff has carried over into the riding. If you think about when you're riding a horse, or when you're leading a horse on the ground, every interaction you have with this lead rope and this halter is basically your steering. It's your same interactions you're having under saddle. So if you're picking up, pulling sideways, you're working on your steering. If you're putting pressure going back that way, you're working on your back up or your slow down or whatever. And Jeff here, you know, like I said, when I got him, all the groundwork was really good, and I've started riding him, and he wasn't very good to ride to start with, but it's starting to come along because it's all making sense to him, because it's all connected. And you know, like right now when I ride him along, you can just pick up, just slide your hand down, pick up one rein, and he puts a nice bend in his body and follows it around, like a lot of people think that a large draft or Clydesdale type horse can't do. Working on the back up, he's starting to get to where I can just take the slack out of this rope, and he's starting to, you know, get soft in the pole and back up just off a little bit of pressure. And so what I'm trying to get at here is just how I just want you guys to be aware of your interaction between this lead rope and this halter and your horse is basically the foundation for all your riding stuff under saddle. So I like to make sure that every little thing I do kind of adds up to that. And so one thing I'm really big on, it's a tiny little thing, but one thing I'll do is if I lead a horse through a gate, say I go through a gate and I turn to go back here, watch his hind legs. You see how right there he crosses and uncrosses his hind legs, okay? That means that horse has broke loose in his loin. If he's broke loose in his loin, he's broke loose up here, and he's not going to be pulling on you. If I went through a gateway and went to turn and go this way, and that horse didn't do that, if he was, say he was stepping backwards like this or stepping together, it tells me he's tight and his whole body's braced, and I'd probably keep going around here until he loosened up. But you can see old Jeffrey, he's just turning loose. That inside hind foot stepping over there like that is a huge indication of his mental state when he does that. And a lot of horses, a lot of times any resistance you have in your horse is just their mental state anyway. So anyway, just wanted to talk to you about how you handle this halter and the horses on the ground. Has a lot to do with how they ride under saddle, and the fact that just because you've got a heavy breed, they do not have to be dull or heavy in your hands. So I hope that helps. Jeffrey and I'll see you guys next time.